I'm at Voxxed Days Bucharest 2018, and I'm really pleased to be joined by Burr Sutter. Burr, welcome. Thanks for taking a bit of time to come and talk to us. I know you've just come out of a session today talking about Istio.
Istio.
And Istio's like the shiny new everything that everyone wants to talk about. So for those people at home that maybe are not as familiar about it, can you give us a quick overview?
Yeah. It is super exciting even within Red Hat itself. So it's kind of funny to watch Red Hat engineering wrap their heads around it and get super excited about it also. But if you are a shop that's interested in microservices, and it seems like most shops are interested in microservices, if you're dealing with that distributed computing paradigm where you basically have a service in one process, calling a service in another process, calling a service in another process, you have these network hops in between.
Yep.
Well, the network could fail. You might have a latency issue. You might have just literally that I can't connect from A to B. And so what you had in the microservices world is Netflix OSS came out with cloud native libraries, if you will, that basically can be plugged into a Java backend. And then you have these things like Hystrix and Eureka. So you can find that next service with Eureka. You can basically have a load balancer with Ribbon, and you can have a circuit breaker with Hystrix. So that's where we really got to in the microservices world. Super excited about Hystrix and super excited about Eureka and Ribbon and all the Netflix stuff. But it only worked with Java. And it only worked really within that JVM context. In this Istio world, being it's a service mesh, it works with anything that runs in a container.
Okay.
So it basically, it uses an Envoy sidecar. So Envoy comes from the Lyft team. So Lyft being the other Uber out there in the world, right? And they have donated this to open source. And it's written in C++, layer 7 reverse proxy. It basically intercepts all network traffic in and out of your pod. If you deploy this with Kubernetes, you have the pod. And it intercepts all traffic in and out, and basically allows you to manipulate that network traffic. And you can even do like chaos engineering. You can throw errors into the mix. You can do complete changing of all the route rules, moving traffic from A to B to C to D. You can also do things like dark launches, meaning you can mirror traffic to something that doesn't even respond. So if you're doing any kind of Canary release, any kind of fast, rapid rollout, you're worried about the network being a problem in a microservices architecture, then Istio has a lot of great tools for you.
So who do you think, a couple of use cases, who's this going to be most important for? Or who do you think are going to be really early adopters because they've got most to gain from this?
Definitely the shops that were kind of early adopters of microservices architecture and are now feeling the pain of all that. Also, anybody who basically says, we want to do microservices, but not only Java, Node.js, Python, Ruby, it doesn't matter, C#, anything works in this world because it just has to fit in a container, a Docker Linux container. And another one that I think will be very advantageous to people, if you're looking at microservices, hopefully you're looking at microservices for faster deployments, right? You're saying, okay, I don't want a 6-month deployment. I don't want a 6-week deployment. Yeah. I want a 6-day deployment or a 6-minute, 6-hour deployment. So if you're deploying that quickly, then you do want these new concepts of like a Canary rollout as an example, where you just roll out, you send just a little bit of traffic to that component, see if it stands up, or is it eating all the memory, eating all the CPU, logging out a bunch of errors. And then when you have that little component running, you can know that it's either good Canary or bad Canary.
Yep.
And if it's bad, kill it, take it out of the system. If it's good, roll it out to the rest of the users. Okay. And so at Istio, one of the things I show in the presentation is you can actually take just a tiny fraction of traffic, send it in to that Canary rollout, the new version of the pod, the new version of in this case, a little Spring Boot app or Vertex app that you've rolled out, just a new little piece of Java code. And then you can also decide based on HTTP headers who should be routed to it. Like you can say only iOS users or only Android users, Safari, Firefox, only employees, because it's anything in HTTP. I only want beta customers getting access to the new Canary rollout, as an example. So a lot of people are very interested in that concept. Yeah. And it has one other thing that we've seen customers get super excited about, and that is it gives you distributed tracing and metrics out of the box. Because it knows all the network traffic going through the service mesh, you get Jaeger or Zipkin-based tracing just for free, right? And you plug it in, and you basically plug in the dashboard, and you have the tracing and metrics from that.
So if there's anybody watching this who wants to get involved and just starting to have a play around, where do they go? What do they do?
Yeah, so we've actually done something that's really nice. I think it's really nice. My team worked on it really hard. But if you go to bit.ly istio-tutorial, you'll find a long, it's just a big old README on GitHub with a bunch of projects and sample files and things like that. That'll get you started on your laptop. And then also at the top of that document, you'll see that there's also another link to an online tutorial. So you don't have to install anything.
Okay.
You just go to learn.openshift.com/service mesh. And then you can just launch the examples right there without having to install anything. So you can try those route rule changes I was talking about, where it's just a Canary rollout, or it's just Safari users or Firefox users. You can try the metrics and things like that and get a chance to see it run without having to install everything.
Great.
And so it's still relatively immature. It's only .6 right now. They have to march their way up to 1.0. 1.0 hopefully will be the summer timeframe. But it's maturing rapidly, and the feature set continues to grow, and it's really amazing how much the community is really kind of falling in love with it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm seeing from the different community events that I go to, and also stuff coming up, for instance, DevOps UK in May as well, just so much interest in there, and it seems to be a new darling of the sector for now. So I hope that it continues to be as they roll up towards 1.0 and beyond as well.
Yeah, we certainly are going to see it mature, but there's so many vendors now behind it. It's another good example of a multi-vendor open source project. As one person told me recently, the new closed source is a single vendor open source project. And so you see things like Kubernetes is a good example. Multiple vendors like Google and Red Hat and IBM and everybody pretty much at this point all behind Kubernetes. And Istio early on had IBM and Google behind it, and now Red Hat behind it. And so you can see a lot of people on board with that. And I think that's a very good thing. And so it'll mature rapidly. It's obviously still early. There's lots of bugs in it right now. But you're going to see it mature rapidly, and I think it'll add tremendous value to those shops that are trying to do I got to deploy every day or deploy every week or deploy every minute kind of things, because you can do some really advanced things in it.
Great. Thank you very much for joining me.
Thank you.
Cheers.